All right, we should be live.
We're live.
The awkward part of this is always that...
You're looking around wondering if it started yet.
You got to make sure that it's on, and then trying to get the monitor set up. Yeah, we may need to reload.
Okay, we will refresh.
Command R.
It's awkward to watch yourself while you're doing it, but at the same time, you got to know that it's on.
Well, and you got to see the comments and stuff like that. So.
Yep.
There we are. We've been live for 23 seconds, so basically a lifetime.
Sorry, guys.
To anyone watching, basically a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going today?
Pretty great, I think.
You having a good day?
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's early. There's plenty of chance for everything to go off the rails. No, I'm on the other end of that spectrum. I would like to think that there's plenty of opportunity for things to get better in general than,
that's more my outlook. Good day. It's going to be a great day.
Yeah, I've got Leadership Fairbanks tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. But that means...
miss Leadership Fairbanks. I got to go last year.
Those good times.
This year,
great to have in the class.
It was a lot of fun.
But yeah, so it means being out of the shop for the day, which means I've got to make sure that my I's are dotted. I always want to say that wrong, but that I'm ready to not be here tomorrow. Yeah, so there are dots somewhere, and there's lines that intersect. I don't know, but yeah, it's fun to do. It's fun to hang out with these emerging leaders and all that good stuff. Yeah, so it's good. What's up with you?
I am super excited about interviewing people.
Oh yes, we're looking for a new employee.
That's like one of my favorite things. I really enjoy finding the right person. So I mean, we've been really fortunate. Like Rhonda, 12 years ago. Is that right? 12 years ago? Yeah, I got to bring Rhonda in, and she's been here since. And then 3 years ago.
Yeah, but so hold on. So you worked here 10 years ago.
And then I left you.
And then you basically handed me your replacement. You're like, Rhonda's going to be great.
She's going to be good.
And she's worked out for a dozen years. So yeah, I guess that was a good find.
Yeah, I've got a good track record.
Yeah.
And so it feels right. And then we got Melinda. So she's been here almost 3 years now. I think it is. And she's wonderful.
It's like 2.5. You just crossed 3.
No, 4.
Four. Oh yeah, we keep getting that wrong.
I know. It's mind-boggling.
But the cool part about that, so we're replacing somebody, and we have someone who's been here for almost 6 months now.
Yep.
So they're relatively new, and we're going to have another new person. But in general, we have very long-term
employees.
So if you're looking for a place to stick around for a while, we don't run everybody off.
Yep.
For the most part, people want to stick around for a little bit. So we have a pretty decent track record. But yeah, if you at home, you're not supposed to point at people, but it's a camera.
Oh, really?
You're pointing at people?
No,
if it's a camera? I don't know.
I mean, you're pointing at everyone. That's really rude.
Yeah, I'm pointing at the entire universe.
The entire world.
We've got an opportunity for one of the team members here, for a problem solver here, to help us do great work for people.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, you can even apply on Facebook, which is new and exciting and weird.
Yes.
But yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself if you apply on Facebook. You know, we've gotten a few where we just don't have a lot of info.
Yeah.
And that makes it really hard. Yeah. So if you see it on Facebook and you apply online, tell us a little about yourself. We want to know, who you are, what you're interested in, why do you want to work here,
Yeah, I should try it. I should apply.
You should.
One, see if you would pick me.
No.
That's but just see how that process looks like.
How has it been since you've had to make a resume?
Man.
Right?
And do you know what my resume looks like?
No.
It has 2 lines on it.
Well, I mean, you can't fault someone for that.
No. I mean, it's worked out okay.
Exactly.
But yeah, it is, whenever I think about what I need. So my resume is more about accomplishments along the way, but it is, I worked at a photo place for 3 years just out of high school. That place closed down. I walked in here
shut down
a week later. Well, I mean, it's possible. I mean, I was there. I did help pack up all the equipment and literally take it into storage. But you don't see many 1 hour photo mats anymore. So I'd like to think it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
If it's my responsibility, I killed an industry. That's what I did, not just one business.
Go bigger, go home.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I literally was out of a job for a week, came here, and have been here for the past 22 years.
Well done. Yeah.
22 years.
Too bad.
Well, I mean, once you buy it, you get to stay. As long as you don't ruin it.
As long as you don't run into the ground.
Then when you run into the ground, it really harms yourself more than anyone else. So.
And
I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson.
Yep, you ran them into the ground as practice so that you wouldn't have to do it with Dateline.
That's right. Well, and so, like, I'm not a big family business person. Like, I want Maddie to
do her own thing.
Family businesses are great. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, no, you just don't.
But I don't want Maddie to feel like she needs to follow in my footsteps. I want her to be able to do whatever she wants. But she's 12 now, and we're going to start leveraging what skills she has. So she was in last week during spring.
Do we have to worry about child labor laws while we're talking about this here?
Probably so.
Probably
so.
She's great. She comes in and has fun. We don't put her to work at all.
Yeah. No, but last week was spring break. I wanted to say spring training, because it's also spring training, but she wasn't a part of that. But she came in for a day and a half, and we named her Director of Vacuum Services. When you're the boss's daughter, you get to be a director right away, but of the worst.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna do her any favors.
That you didn't put her in like master of toilet cleaning,
Well, I mean that's.
So really,
I think that's on the other side of the business card. Yeah. Yes, but yeah, so she's gonna help us out. So it's kind of fun to give her a little taste of what it's like to have to work.
I just realized how inefficient this water bottle is for drinking on camera because it's a screw top. So there's like a whole process, and I realized it's a little bit loud, and yeah.
Well, next week you'll refine that, I'm sure.
I will. I learned from my mistakes.
I have a little straw, guys, so I don't spill it over myself.
I like that.
Let's talk about binding.
Binding.
And yes, Maddie left us a note, actually, there. Have a great week. Love, Maddie Welch. For those of you at home who might not be able to read, that's what it says. I've now helped you. But let's talk about binding. Where do you want to start?
Well, this one's on the top, so let's do that.
What a novel idea.
So binding is just a daily operation for us. I mean, this is a constant. This one is a comb bind.
Yeah.
And perks of comb binding is it can hold the most paper. This is a small sample, but you can get almost 400 pages in here. They can be really wide. So that also gives you an edge on the back here that you could label. So if this was going on a shelf and you needed to be able to see a title of what it was. Is that a label maker?
My label maker. I label all sorts of things.
Yep. But that's one of the nice things about a comb bind is you do actually have an edge that you could label so that when it's on a shelf you can see from the bind edge what it is. So definitely the biggest capacity of any of the binds we do. It's not as preferred as the coil bind because of the way it opens up, which is still great. It opens flat and everything, but it's not as smooth as the coil. You can't bring it back to back without the bind getting a little bit in the way.
It won't completely fold over.
So for some people that doesn't matter at all. Yeah. But it definitely has the best capacity. So we've got people with those manuals, sometimes manuals that they'd never have to read, but they have to have in print.
Yep.
Or some big OSHA book, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
well, and this is one of the advantages is that it's easy to add or remove sections.
Absolutely.
Because basically it's like a claw.
A little machine.
We've got a little machine that just spreads it open.
And opens it.
For people who are either working on drafts where they're going to be adding and changing things. Yeah, you can kind of show that to me.
Yep. So we just take the book apart, can add or remove pages and put it back together pretty easily. Yep, exactly.
Very common. I mean, I think people recognize this as a pretty standard looking kind of bind. But certainly not the most popular bind.
Indeed. Our most popular bind. Coil, or otherwise known as spiral. This one holds up the best. It's the most user-friendly. And these all cost the same too. So that's kind of a perk. You don't have to pick based on cost. You pick based on preference in your specific job. I keep holding it down by the computer, and I feel like, there we go.
That's a good shot right there.
So this one is exactly what it sounds like. It's a coil, and it wraps through, but you can open the book all the way or even back on itself, and you're never damaging the pages. So for longevity, that's really great. A lot of people actually bring in their paperback books or something that has like normal glued bind, and they have us chop that off and put this on in place.
Yeah, we do that all the time.
So user friendly.
Yeah, so like cookbooks, musicians do it all the time.
Yep.
Anything where you're going to have a book that's not necessarily laying flat, or it's fat enough that even when you try to lay it flat, if it's not in the middle, it wants to fold back.
It wants to do this.
Yeah.
And our musicians are like, why do they even make music books like this? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right?
So the only thing we have to look out for is we just make sure there's enough margin that text isn't too close to the edges, so we can cut the bind off.
So when you cut a sliver off the edge, you still have enough room.
Exactly.
And this, because there's so many holes, it's very smooth and strong.
Exactly.
It really weathers pretty well as well.
Yep. Weathers well. But yeah, this is the favorite. I mean, I've definitely bound some books or made myself a notebook. The Leadership Fairbanks notebooks are made like this. And this is just a standard 8.5 by 11, but you can do this to just about any size. Oh, there's an example.
So this is an example, this weird little book I wrote one time. We've got this going down the side. So I think we often think about books in this format.
It has to be like this.
But we can do a lot of different variations or even different sizes. It doesn't necessarily have to be a full sheet like this either, but then it opens up very nicely.
Yep. You can do a clear plastic cover on it. You can do like a black vinyl on the back so that you add protection to it. But yeah, that's a really good example. That's a really nice finished product.
It is. Fancy.
Very pretty. Very pretty. So yes, let's see, am I forgetting anything about coil? Oh, coil, so it doesn't have quite the same capacity as the cold binding. You can hold around 300 pages. The reason we don't give an exact is because it depends on the paper weight. So if you're putting just cheap printer paper in there, then these max numbers we're giving will probably work. But if you have like a nicer quality paper, you're binding cardstock, then that sheet count isn't an exact. So it does depend on what you're printing on. It's a thickness thing, not a sheet number thing.
About yay. 1.5 inches or so.
Yep. And lastly, heat tape.
Heat tape. So this is the last of the most common, all cost the same price, kind of standard binds.
I would say that it's the least popular because
be accurate.
You have that issue of never being able to actually lay it flat. It's always going to want to do that. And then if you do want to use this a lot, so say this is a manual that you're going to reference daily, eventually when you try to lay it flat, you're going to start to, and it's not going to do it on the first go, but eventually if you're really abusing it, laying it flat and squishing it flat, pages may start to come out.
This is a glued bind, and so over time and abuse, that glue can start to break down on a single sheet level.
It cracks and,
Now, it doesn't quickly.
Exactly. It's
but
going
it
to take a long
depends on
time.
what you're using the book for. Right?
Which is why we recommend, if someone is saying, yes, this is something I use every single day, or this is something I need to lay flat, we just don't recommend this one. It works, but it's going to wear out faster if you are using it all the time for those purposes. But it looks really nice. So the other perk is it does have an actual edge. You can label it. And it sits nicely on a shelf. I mean, this gets filed and it looks really sharp.
And we do a lot of reports, things that need to be printed, that need to be saved and stored, but they're probably going to go on a shelf and be there as reference material and used periodically. We do this a lot for those kind of things.
Yep. Just not really a high use item. It'll wear out faster than the others. And lastly, the cream of the crop. And this is where it does get a little bit more. The cream of the crop, I like that. It's the fanciest of the binds.
The more costly, yes.
It is.
Yes.
It's more costly because it is actually a full wraparound cover. It's called a perfect bind. And so like a paperback book where the cover wraps all the way around instead of ending here and having a seam or anything like that. So this can be a really, really sharp finished product because you can have like a full bleed cover that wraps all the way around. You can have text on the side. It can look extremely professionally finished.
Very custom.
So the same downside as a heat tape bind, because it's essentially the same thing, just with a different style of cover, is you do have the potential issue of not being able to lay it flat for that type of use. But boy, it looks really sharp. It is.
And I think the other compromise is that because of this is a continuous sheet of paper, the sizes of paper we use mean you can't wrap it sideways.
Correct.
It's going to have to kind of go that direction.
You would not be able to have it flip this short edge.
Yeah, flip open this direction.
Yep.
Because our paper sizes aren't going to accommodate that.
Yep, to wrap all the way around. Exactly.
But yeah, we do a number of reports for people in this style that, I mean, they're just as sharp as can be.
Oh yeah, they look fantastic.
Yeah.
And they probably go on shelves and continue to look fantastic for the 2 years that they're valid until they redo them.
That's right. So we do have a couple more basic options.
Oh yeah. So these are all if you have a substantial enough amount of pages. Oh,
I forgot a sample.
Idea.
No, I forgot a sample, but I'm going to improvise.
I'll put down the fort. So if you don't have a whole lot of pages, then you can do staples. So, I mean, the most simple is obviously our machines can just staple this right off the machine. They come off done in little packets. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. There isn't too much to talk about there. The other alternative that our machines can do, the other alternative that our machines can do is 2 staples on the side, which there and there. So it kind of acts as a bind, but it's still really affordable. And the machine
almost free. I mean, as close to free as you can get.
Yeah, it's true. And you could still put a cover on this or something to make it look a little bit more like a book.
Yeah.
As long as you're okay with having that limitation of how it opens, then this would work great for you. And lastly, in the stapling world, and this one's really popular. We do this all the time.
We did not make this one. But we could.
That's a good disclaimer.
We could make this.
Exactly. It is basically a magazine or calendar style staple where it's a folded larger sheet. Let's see here. I'll show the middle. Exactly. So it's a larger sheet folded and stapled in the middle. And it actually comes off the machine. The machine does the fold and the staple, which is glorious.
Yes, quite.
And you can end up with a finished product like this. So calendars, magazines, newsletters.
Anytime you have a newsletter that is like this format, where it's like a folded, larger thing, that's more than a sheet or two. I mean, those staples really help to keep things locked in
and in order,
not sliding around. Yeah, exactly. Losing stuff. So this is probably about 15 full-size sheets, something like that?
Yes. So there is a max. Again, it depends on the paper you select.
Yeah.
So if you just want the plain printer paper, 20-pound, then we can fit quite a few, make it a pretty beefy fold staple book. If you want something glossier and heavier like this, you're a little bit more limited. Yeah, closer to...
But you're probably maxing out at 60 8.5 by 11 faces.
Yes, because the trick with this is you got to imagine that if you have a PDF document,
pull it out here.
Yeah, if you have a PDF document that is 40 pages, well, each one.
Oh, they've got some weird glue in here too.
They put glue in theirs as well. So we're actually
it's not intentional
on these like 11 by 17 sheets, and you can fit 4 of your normal pages. 1, 2, 3, 4. Per larger page. So whatever number you do, you divide it by 4, and that's how many sheets you actually have. So yeah, a 40-page PDF translates down to a small enough
a 10-page document for us.
Fold and staple.
Yeah.
If you need help with planning for your fold staple book, just ask us. We walk people through it all the time.
And we don't need people to arrange them like this. You just give us 8.5 by 11 sheets.
Yeah, we
have
tell
computers.
our machine booklet, and voila, magic.
And it puts them all in the right order.
You don't have to what they call paginate. It's a good word.
Like signatures.
Indeed. So yes, we have machines that do a lot, take the legwork out for you, and in the end, you can have a really, really pretty product like this. And that is the most affordable way to do it, as far as binding goes, as long as you have few enough pages too. And it looks really great, really sharp.
Yeah, super sharp. And again, we're doing those kind of books all the time.
And again, size is not an issue here too. A lot of people do little half-size books, whether that's like a landscape like that, or a little half-size book like that. We do programs. I mean, we do a lot of memorial programs that are that size. We have different catalogs. We do all kinds of stuff for UAF. That are half-size booklets that they use at their shows or different forums for handouts.
Different things that you have there. Absolutely. Cool.
Man, binds was an easy one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is something we do every day. This is the kind of thing that Maddie's going to work on this summer.
Yeah.
Like punching the bind, applying the bind. It's a fairly easy process, but it's something that people need every day, all the time. It's amazing to me. The most complicated jobs for me are not the jobs that get bound, but the jobs that would be better if they're bound that someone chooses not to for a lot of different reasons. But where you're trying to box something up that is not held together in one unit. It's all loose pages.
I guess there's one that we didn't mention is the 3-hole punch to an actual binder.
Yeah. So we're not doing the binding, but we're facilitating the possibility of binding.
Yep. So our machines can do that as well. Yep. And so that would exactly be a case where someone might order 20 books all punched.
Yeah.
And so we gotta put either a slip sheet in between so they can tell where one book starts and one stops.
Whereas something like this, it's just held together and a unit, and everything stays where you want it.
It feels really complete when you hand it to the customer. Yeah, satisfying.
Absolutely. And so those 3-hole punches, though, we can do that off the machine, as it comes off the machine when we're printing it, or
we
you can bring something
afterwards.
in.
Yeah.
And that happens for manuals and stuff like that.
Yep. A lot of times they'll have something that the bind's worn out on, or they just don't want the bind. They want to shove it in a binder, and so they have us cut the bind off. Once again, super easy, and just drill holes in it. So lots of possibilities. Makes it. I mean, that's actually, gosh, we do that all the time where people bring something and they're like, it's falling apart.
Yeah.
What can we? Some really cool old books too, old children's books. Yeah. All kinds of stuff. And so it's kind of neat to be able to give them second life.
Yeah.
All you have to do is chop the bind off and put a fresh one on, maybe some covers to protect it. And that book's going to last another who knows how long.
Yeah.
So it's
pretty
fun. Cool.
Yeah, it's cool. All right. So if you want to know more about that, if you want to find out more about some of the other stuff we do and you don't want to wait a whole week
for
to hear from us
video.
Again, you can go to datelinedigital.com or give us a call at 479-3831. We would love to talk to you about how we can help you. It was super gratifying to, when we did our sticker video, to have someone come in the next week and saw your video. I wanted to make some stickers.
Yes, that was really cool. It's like, all right, we reached someone.
Well, and the point, I think, sort of like my sales philosophy is try to get people who need the thing you do
and figure
to get it from you, not try to trick people into buying something they don't need.
That's why we like working here.
So if you need it, talk to us. If you don't need it, then watch next week, and maybe there'll be something else you need.
Exactly. We're not trying to convince everyone to buy stickers or books.
That's
We're
right. Just the people who need them.
Exactly.
That would help them. So, good. And if you, we do other stuff too. Like we produce a podcast every other week, and there are lots of other resources we have available at datelinedigital.com. So even if you don't need binding, maybe go there and
see what other cool things we're part of. Thanks, Fairbanks. The Spark, our podcast. There are all kinds of cool little things if you want to get to know us better or see what we're doing in the community. The Thanks Fairbanks program is really awesome. And our website, datelinedigital.com, has most of that information right there.
It's all there. Bye. Have a good week. Good job.
Yay. It just gets...
At this